Hello everyone, welcome to radiology's tutorial. Today we are going to discuss the ultrasound KUB. In this video we will discuss the ultrasound of kidneys, ureter and bladder. So first of all we'll discuss the technique used to evaluate the kidneys. Kidneys can be visualized in the ultrasound by the intracostal, subcostal, lateral decubitus or the posterior lateral approaches, usually during the deep inspiration. As here we can see the kidney is visualized by the subcostal approach. It shows the liver and the upper pole of the kidney. Each kidney measures about 10 to 13 cm in length, 4 to 6 cm in breadth and 2.5 to 4 cm in its thickness. And the echogenicity of the right kidney is less than or equal to that of liver, and the echogenicity of the left kidney is less than or equal to that of spleen. As here we can see this one is a kidney and here we can see the liver. This one is the upper pole of the kidney which is adjacent to the liver, and this one is the lower pole of the kidney which is away from the liver. And here we can see the tiny cystic areas which are renal pyramids, and here we can see the renal pelvis. First of all we are going to discuss the renal obstruction. It happens when the urine cannot drain from the kidney and causing the swelling and the pressure in the kidneys, and this condition is called hydronephrosis. On ultrasound we can detect the dilated collecting system, and these collecting systems generally communicate with the renal pelvis. As here we can see this one is the renal parenchyma, this is the renal cortex, and here we can see the anechoic fluid which is causing the enlargement of the kidney, and this fluid is communicating with the renal pelvis. On evaluating the urinary bladder, it was seen that a mass has obstructed the ureter at the base of the urinary bladder. So this hydronephrosis is caused due to the obstruction caused by the urinary bladder mass. Now we are going to discuss the grading of hydronephrosis. Mild hydronephrosis or grade 1 hydronephrosis occurs when only the pelvic and the ureters are dilated and minimal fullness or pelvic calcium system is seen. As here we can see the minimal fluid collection is seen in the renal pelvis and the cortex of the kidney is intact. And now we are going to discuss the moderate hydronephrosis or grade 2 hydronephrosis. When the ureters, pelvis and the major calyxes dilate, then this condition is considered as moderate hydronephrosis. It is not associated with cortical thinning. As here we can see the cortex of the kidney has normal measurement, and the major calyxes, renal pelvis and the ureter are communicating with each other. This condition is called grade 2 hydronephrosis. Now we are going to discuss the grade 3 hydronephrosis or severe hydronephrosis. In the severe hydronephrosis, the whole kidney is filled up with the urine with white or echogenic capsules, and it is associated with the cortical thinning. As here we can see the cortex of the kidney is very thin as compared to the normal measurement, and the size of the kidney is markedly enlarged due to the fluid collection in whole of the renal parenchyma, and this condition is called severe hydronephrosis or grade 3 hydronephrosis. And now we are going to discuss the pyonephrosis. Pyonephrosis is a severe kidney infection where the pus fills the renal collecting system due to an obstruction. Ultrasound features of the pyonephrosis include the obstructed and infected collecting system. Echogenic pus can be seen filling the collecting system. Now this sonogram shows moderate to severe hydronephrosis, which is causing the filling of the collecting system. As here we can see the hydronephrosis also showing internal free floating echoes, and these free floating echoes are due to the pus collection into the renal collecting system, and these collecting systems are also communicating with each other. Now we are going to discuss a simple cyst. The accumulation of fluid in the thin membrane of the kidney is called renal cyst. On ultrasound, simple cyst appears as an echoic and it may be oval or rounded in shape. It has a well-defined back wall, and acoustic enhancement deep to the lesion is also seen, and no measurable wall thickness is seen in the simple cyst. And now in this longitudinal view we can see the liver parenchyma and the right kidney. The right kidney shows a rounded, well-defined fluid collection with an echoic lumen, also showing the marked acoustic enhancement, and it has no measurable wall thickness. And these features are suggestive of simple cyst, and this cyst is present at the upper pole of the right kidney. And now we are going to discuss the hemorrhagic cyst. It is a common fluid-filled sac in the kidney that has a blood into itself, appearing the complex or imaging with internal blood clots or the debris, and it is distinct from the simple cyst. On ultrasound, it may be oval or rounded in shape, and it has internal echogenic material within the cyst, representing the clotted blood or the cellular debris, unlike the clear fluid in the simple cyst. And it may have a thick wall or the thick internal septations. As here we can see the longitudinal view of the right kidney, and it shows an oval-shaped hemorrhagic cyst at the upper pole of the right kidney, and it is causing the distortion of the normal renal parenchyma. And this hemorrhagic cyst is showing the internal debris content, and this debris content may be due to the clotted blood. And now we are going to discuss the autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease. It is the most common inherited kidney disease which is causing the fluid filled cysts to grow in the kidneys and the other organs like the liver, and leading to the kidney enlargement, pain, and the high blood pressure. On ultrasound, the autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease shows multiple variable sized cysts, and these may be cortical or medullary based cysts, and the size of the kidney is also enlarged due to the multiple cysts. And this sonogram shows multiple anechoic cysts of variable sized, that is covering whole of the renal parenchyma, and these cysts are also cortical and medullary based, and these features are suggestive of autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease. And now we are going to discuss the renal cell carcinoma. It is the most common malignant renal neoplasm, and it is often treated with nephrectomy. On ultrasound, it has a thick irregular walls, and lumen of the carcinoma may appear hypoechoic but may be isoechoic or hyperechoic. The stones can also be seen within it, and if it is enlarged, then it can disturb the renal parenchyma. As here we can see the iso to hypoechoic at the lower pole of the kidney, and it has irregular margins as it has a large size, so it is causing the disturbance in the renal parenchymal outline, and it can be further confirmed on the CT KUB with contrast. And now we are going to discuss the lymphoma. Lymphoma is a renal neoplasm which is involving the invasion from the lymphatic system, and in most cases it is asymptomatic. On ultrasound, the lymphoma shows multiple bilateral hypoechoic masses, and it has a diffuse infiltration and smooth renal enlargement, and the involvement of the perinephric space is also seen in lymphoma. As here we can see the multiple hypoechoic well-defined lesions involving the renal enlargement and also involving the perinephric space. So these features are suggestive of lymphoma, and it can be further evaluated on the CT KUB with contrast. And now we are going to discuss the angiomyolipoma, and it is the most common benign lesion. Angiomyolipomas are the tumors that are composed of dysmorphic vessels, smooth muscle components, and the mature fat. On ultrasound, the angiomyolipoma appears hyperechoic mass, and it has well-defined margins, and it shows some degree of acoustic enhancement, but it does not show any cystic component. And now in the sonogram, we can see a hyperechoic well-defined lesion at upper pole of the right kidney, and it has a well-defined margins, and it also showing some degree of acoustic enhancement, but it does not have any cystic component. So these features are suggestive of angiomyolipoma, and it can also be further evaluated on CT KUB with contrast. And now we are going to discuss the renal abscess. A renal abscess is a serious localized collection of pus within the kidney or surrounding area, and it usually stemming from the severe urinary tract infection. The renal abscess appear as a well-defined hypoechoic mass with internal echoes, and it has a thickened wall. It often appears with posterior acoustic enhancement. On color Doppler, it does not show any significant blood flow. As in the sonogram, we can see the longitudinal view of the right kidney, and it shows a well-defined hypoechoic lesion with thickened wall at the interpolar region, and the lumen of the lesion is showing the internal free-floating echoes, and these free-floating echoes are due to the debris content or pus. And it also showing the posterior acoustic enhancement, and on color Doppler, it does not show any internal blood flow. So these are the features of renal abscess. And now we are going to discuss the pyonephritis. The infection of the renal collecting system and the renal parenchyma is called pyonephritis, and it usually stems from the retrograde migration of the bacteria up the ureter and into the kidneys. On ultrasound, the pyonephritis appears as enlargement of the kidney and blurred corticomedullary differentiation and patchy areas that are hypoechoic or hyperechoic, and decreased blood flow on color Doppler is also seen in pyonephritis. As here we can see the size of the kidney is markedly enlarged, and there is a blurred corticomedullary differentiation, and here we can see the patchy areas, that are hypoechoic and hyperechoic, and these features are suggestive of pyelonephritis. And now we are going to discuss the medullary nephrocalcinosis. The medullary nephrocalcinosis is a common form of nephrocalcinosis, and it is involving the calcium salt deposits in the kidney's medulla, and often due to the high urinary calcium phosphate or the oxalates. On ultrasound, the bright echogenic spots within the renal pyramids are usually seen, and it often shows the posterior acoustic shadowing like the tiny bright dots in the kidney's inner part. And now in the sonogram, we can see the multiple echogenic bright spots within the renal pyramids, and also showing somehow acoustic enhancement. And these features are suggestive of medullary nephrocalcinosis. And now we are going to discuss the ureteropelvic junction stones. And the calculus at the junction of the kidney and the ureter is called ureteropelvic junction stone. And on ultrasound, it appears as a bright hyperechoic focus within the kidney's collecting system or the start of the ureter, and it often with a dark acoustic shadow behind it. It also shows a twinkle artifact with a color Doppler. As in the sonogram, we can see the dilatation of collecting system in the right kidney, and these collecting system are communicating with each other into the renal pelvis and into the proximal part of the urinary bladder. And this obstruction is due to the bright echogenic calculus at the proximal part of the ureter, and it also showing the proper acoustic shadowing. So these are the features of ureteropelvic junction stone. And now we are going to discuss the urinary bladder stones. The calculus in the urinary bladder are called urinary bladder stones. On ultrasound, the urinary bladder stone appears as a bright hyperechoic foci, and they may be single or multiple, and they also show the acoustic shadowing and twinkle artifact with the color Doppler. As in the sonogram, we can see a urinary bladder which is partially filled and also showing the proper acoustic shadowing, and these are the features of urinary bladder stones. And now we are going to discuss the urothelial cell carcinoma. It is a common cancer that is starting in the urothelial cells lining the urinary tract in the bladder, ureters, renal pelvis, and the urethra. On ultrasound, it appears as a hypoechoic or hyperechoic solid mass or thickening within the bladder or the urinary tract. And now in the sonogram, we can see a partially filled urinary bladder, and this urinary bladder is also showing a hypoechoic solid mass with hyperechoic rim, and it is adherent to the wall of the urinary bladder, and it can be further evaluated CT KUB with contrast. And now we are going to discuss the cystitis. Cystitis is the inflammation of the bladder, and most often it is caused with the bacterial infection leading to the frequent and urgent painful urination. On ultrasound, the cystitis appears as a bladder wall thickening. The normal wall thickness in the distended urinary bladder is less than 3 mm, and if it is non-distended, then less than 5 mm. The intramural echoes and the debrinous content is also seen in case of cystitis. The irregular mucosal surfaces can also be seen. As in the sonogram, we can see the distended urinary bladder which measures about 11.6 cm, and it shows markedly thick walled urinary bladder, and the lumen of the urinary bladder also shows multiple internal free floating echoes. And this is a sonogram of the same patient after providing the urine, and it shows the non-distended urinary bladder which measures about 4.3 cm, and it has markedly increased wall thickness. And these are the features of cystitis, and it can be further evaluated by the urine complete examination. And now we are going to discuss the ureterocele. It is a congenital condition where end of the ureter swells into a cyst, often blocking the urine flow. And on ultrasound, it appears as a thin-walled, fluid-filled cystic structure bulging into the urinary bladder, and it often appears near the base of the urinary bladder. The classic cobra head or the swimming frog sign is usually seen. The dilated distal ureter ballooning into the urinary bladder is also represented. As here we can see the partially filled urinary bladder, and at the base of the urinary bladder we can see a thin walled fluid filled cystic structure bulging into the urinary bladder, and this distal ureter ballooning into the base of the urinary bladder is ureterocele.